do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, guys, if you're new to the channel and if you enjoyed this video. So, you know, recently a bunch of people in the boxing community have been talking about Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz. And by the way, I think I'm the guy who started that, because I made a video like a week ago talking about how Dillian Whyte, where the hell he's at, and I mentioned that I really want to see him fighting Luis Ortiz. All of a sudden, I see all these other boxing channels talking about Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz. I'm just saying, I think I started that. But anyway, I see a lot of people talking about Luis Ortiz versus Dillian Whyte now, right? Talking about July. And again, this is what they're saying. You know, maybe he's gonna fight him in July. That's the fight they want to see him. There's rumors that he's gonna fight him in July, stuff like that, right? Here's the thing. I was like yesterday, taking a look at Luis Ortiz, some of his fights again. You know, I wanted to refresh my mind on how good is Luis Ortiz. So I was watching his fights again, and you know, I've always told you for the longest time that I believe that Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz is a very competitive fight, which I still do believe. I think that's a 50-50 fight. I've always told you that. But after looking at Luis Ortiz and his past fights, you know, I kind of slightly now edge. I'm kind of like more leaning towards Dillian Whyte in that fight. Like if they fight, which I hope they do, I'm kind of more leaning towards Dillian Whyte, because you know, Luis Ortiz gets hit so flush. Like he gets, you know, and I know most people might disagree with that, because when it comes to Luis Ortiz, particularly people in the, you know, LDBC, people who are big fans of Deontay Wilder, they hold Luis Ortiz to a very high standard. They hold Luis Ortiz to a very high standard because they know that that's Deontay Wilder's best victory in his entire career. So they got Luis Ortiz up there. They rank him up there with, you know, a prime Ali, a prime Mike Tyson. They having him up there. They rank him so high. You know, despite the fact that he's 40+ years old, despite the fact that he has not been anyone of note, they rank him high up there, right? Because they want to make Deontay Wilder look really good. They want to be like, yo, Wilder beat Ortiz. Ortiz is supposedly the pound for pound king. If Wilder wasn't around, Ortiz would be undisputed heavyweight. They want their boxing fans to believe this. But Ortiz gets hit so much, you know, against Christian Hammer. I rewatched the Christian Hammer fight. Ortiz was getting hit with right hands over and over again against Christian Hammer, right? All night against Christian Hammer, okay? It was so easy for Hammer to hit and land on Luis Ortiz. You know, when it came to Deontay Wilder, that made sense because Deontay Wilder is very fast. Excuse me. Deontay Wilder is known for throwing the right hand. So you would expect Luis Ortiz to eventually get hit by Deontay Wilder's right hand at some point during that fight. At least I expected that. I made a video prediction saying, watch Deontay. Matter of fact, I made a video saying Deontay Wilder is going to beat Luis Ortiz. He's going to knock him out cold. He's going to catch him with that right hand, because I saw that Deontay Wilder was faster. And I saw how easy it was for Luis Ortiz to get hit with that right hand. So I picked Deontay Wilder in that fight. And he won. He got him with the right hand. So, but you got guys like Christian Hammer landing cleanly and bloodying up Luis Ortiz's nose. Okay. One thing I think is overrated when it comes to Luis Ortiz is his punching power. You know, for the longest time, people have proclaimed that Luis Ortiz is this monstrous puncher, and this all happened when he beat what's his name, Brian Jennings. When he knocked out Brian Jennings, all of a sudden he's a one-punch knockout artist. He's the biggest puncher, the most vicious puncher in the heavyweight division. But realistically, he's not. You know, he's been going. You know, he went the distance with Christian Hammer, a guy who's been knocked out before. He couldn't get rid of him. Let's not talk about the Razvan Cajano fight. Razvan Cajano is a bum. This guy just got knocked out against a guy with like 10 fights in Daniel Dubois. So let's not even go there and say, oh look, he knocked out Razvan Cajano cool. Bro, a prospect, a guy with like 8 fights did the same thing and knocked him out, and in my opinion, in more devastating fashion than Luis King Kong Ortiz did. And this guy has, you know, 20 fights less than Luis Ortiz. So yeah, you know, he couldn't knock out Travis Kaufman. He went several rounds with Travis Kaufman, so I don't think his punching power is as good as people think. I think Dillian Whyte has a better punching power. I think he's more, because I've seen Dillian Whyte knock people out cold. Excuse me, man. I'm actually sick. I've been coughing all day. I don't know. I got a cough. I think I'm gonna take some medicine for that. But excuse me. Luis Ortiz. No, I've seen Dillian Whyte knock people out cold. I saw him knock out what's his name? Derek Chisora cold. I saw him knock down Joseph Parker. I saw him knock out Lucas Brown cold. He's been knocking out guys cold recently. That's the difference between Ortiz and Dillian Whyte. I've seen him knock guys out cold. I've never seen Luis Ortiz. I think Luis Ortiz is a guy that he's more of a guy that out of accumulation of punishment, you eventually will against him. But I don't think he's a one-punch knockout artist. Also, when it comes to the competition, Dillian Whyte has been fighting way better quality opposition than Luis Ortiz as of late. Luis Ortiz, ever since he lost to Deontay Wilder a year ago, who has he been fighting? A bunch of cab drivers. Raz Venkajana was a cab driver. Travis Kaufman was a cab driver. Christian Hammer is not an elite boxer. Okay, he's not. He's maybe B-level at best, okay? And he had issues with Christian Hammer, all right? He had some issues with that dude. He got hit flush with that dude. He got hit flush against that dude. He was bleeding. The whole fight, he had a nosebleed because he got hit with a right hand early on in that fight from Christian Hammer, and his nose wouldn't stop bleeding. So, I think that in terms of the people, the quality of opposition, I think Dillian Whyte has fought better opposition. And I think this is going to prepare him for someone like for someone like Luis Ortiz. It might not prepare Luis Ortiz for someone like Dillian Whyte because, like I said, you haven't been fighting the top dudes. On top of that, Luis Ortiz is in a age right now where I believe he's going to retire soon. So if they fight, I would actually pick Dillian Whyte to win via knockout because if Deontay Wilder could drop Luis Ortiz, if Christian Hammer could have Luis Ortiz make a nosebleed, could give Luis Ortiz a nosebleed, then 100% Dillian Whyte could knock out or definitely knock down Luis Ortiz because he's a monster puncher. And, again, Luis Ortiz is a boxer and he'll probably try to box that fight, but Dillian Whyte will catch him, just like Deontay Wilder would catch him, just like Deontay Wilder caught him. And I'm putting this video out there just so you guys could go, oh, wait, because most people are picking Luis Ortiz to beat Dillian Whyte because they look at his skill set. They say he's Cuban. Look at the skill set. But he hasn't fought the competition that Dillian Whyte has fought. So I'm actually picking Dillian Whyte to win via knockout. So when he knocks out Luis Ortiz, come back to this video and be like, okay, Rec was right. Most people back then were picking Luis Ortiz to beat him because they thought he was more talented. And who ended up knocking out? Who ended up winning? Dillian Whyte ended up winning via knockout. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I have to say, I'm out.